I'm starting this YouTube channel once again, and it's my third time actually, and I hope I will be able to make videos consistently this time. So, when I was thinking about what I should talk about in my first video, which was actually 5 months back, yes, it has taken me a lot more time than I was expecting. A lot of topics came to my mind, but since I just come back from FIRA's national conference, which stands for Federation of Indian Rationalist Associations, I thought I could talk a bit about rationality in my first video. Not about its definition or something, but a bit about my experience there and how I feel things are going on. So I went there and my experience was mostly positive. What happens there is that all rationalist associations from all across India gather, they interact with each other, do a couple of programs and things like that. And since it was the first event of such kind that I ever attended, I did not have many expectations and so loved it. If you are familiar with the new atheist movement that started in the West, I think we need a similar movement or a cultural phenomenon of that sort in India. Although I believe that atheism is a rational belief in itself, atheism and rationality are two very different things. But in a society where religion and so much of the dogmatism go hand in hand, atheism can certainly play a big role in confronting irrational beliefs. See, there might be way more rationalists and skeptics in India who are not associated with these organizations than they are. But from what I observed and from what I've come to know about these organizations over the years, I think they are not as fierce and staunch as they should be, like the new atheists have been, if I try to compare the two. Not just in their belief system, but also in their rhetoric or character. But regardless of this, I have huge reference for these people, and I will tell you why. I had the privilege of meeting for the second time, in fact, Narendra Nayak. Some of you may have heard of him. He's the president of FIRA currently, but yeah, more important than that, he's been actively criticizing religion and all kinds of superstitions since the 1970s, which in a country like India, where people are such snowflakes and irrationality is so prevalent, it's a big achievement in itself. He's the Indian equivalent of James Randi, I would say, who's a more popular name in the skeptic movement, mm, who sadly passed away a couple of years back. Or if you want the more popular Indian counterparts, he's somebody like Dabholkar or Pansare. Most of these organizations in India are small. They mostly work in villages where things like black magic, faith healing, paranormal beliefs, and other similar pseudoscience is pretty common. But they also work in cities in many parts of the country where such things, or I should say, this same credulity, is still very prevalent, even if not as common as it is in the villages. It just takes a different form sometimes, I would say. Many folks, for instance, may not believe in Jadoo Tona, but they will listen carefully to someone like Sadhguru, who simply blabbers in the name of exchanging profundities. And not to mention the fact that things like Ayurveda and homeopathy are very popular in urban cities. And while India has had many James Randes of our own, what I think is we need our new atheist kind of people as well to fight off these sorts of people or the prevalence of stupidity on a larger scale. Coming back to the stuff that these guys are doing, I mean, these people who run skeptic organizations, it is very courageous. It can seem very superficial to a lot of people, like there's a guy on the stage performing tricks just for the sake of debunking them. But you have to understand that a huge proportion of people would react to something as superficial as this with something like, nah, bro, I don't care. Even if this guy can debunk a particular trick, doesn't refute the superpowers that the Babas and all have. If you take any random Indian walking on the street and ask them whether they think Godman can have superpowers, they will most probably say yes. If you ask a random Indian walking on the street and ask them whether they believe in homeopathy or Ayurveda, they will most probably say yes. We are still a very superstitious country and a country where most people's lives are still dictated by such beliefs in some way or another. Like it's an inherent part of most people's lives here. And it's disturbing. And it's something that we should talk about. Because Bhagwan Vagara Chodo, even though I understand its importance as well, that's why I'm making this video. Even if most people stop believing in things like black magic and astrology and miracles, performed by godmen, it would be something one society can be proud of. Really. Science or skepticism is not valued in the public sphere of life as much as it should be. And these guys are trying to make it possible so passionately and tirelessly. So, more power to them. One issue is that they are not being able to reach the masses. At least, this is what I think. They are nowhere as well known as someone like Sadhguru or someone like Ranveer Alabadia. But along with this, there is a need to strongly criticize the biggest superstructure in this country, that is religion. Polemics that revolves around bashing scriptures, religious dogmatism, and how it poisons the society. How religion poisons everything was actually one of the great late Hitchens books subtitle. This culture where people's beliefs cannot be offended, where people's religious beliefs are taken for granted, that they will be respected, where some ideas are not open to criticism, are not open to scrutiny, it simply does not allow the flourishing of free ideas. One thing that disappointed me the most in the conference was the lack of young people there. I mean, more than 300 people came there, and I could count the number of very young people who were teenagers or in their 20s on my fingers. I have nothing against all people, but I deeply felt like there was a huge disconnection between the old and young generation. Like, if the 70-year-olds are more passionate about all this stuff in a moment rather than the 20-year-olds, then that's definitely a thing its handlers should be concerned about. Because it proves that either they are completely disconnected from young people, or even if they are connected, they are not being able to inspire enough of them, which is saddening. Otherwise, I'm assuming that the number of skeptics in this country is growing, albeit slowly, very slowly, I would say. But it's also saddening at the same time that people like Beer Biceps, or I should say, Ronmir Labadia, who have literally nothing intelligent to talk about, are having such a wide audience. Not that I'm surprised, it's not something that is new. I expect that people like Beer Biceps will get mass audiences here, but that is why it's also necessary to fight these people off. So it's time to end this video, I guess. I hope to make these videos consistently. This video wasn't very well thought out, I would say. I haven't been reading a lot lately, which, in my opinion, is the single most important thing if I want to make such videos regularly and videos that are a little sophisticated. So yeah, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.